not see it coming. I was getting ready for my prom, getting out the shower, and I got a call from Jay Brown, who works for Jay-Z, and he just told me, it's a nice run, kiddo, but, I gotta let you go. So that was the end of it, and I just kept it to myself for like 6 months. I didn't want to tell anybody because I didn't want to deal with the questioning and all of that, so I just kept it to myself, and finally people started hearing it through the grapevine.
You kind of had a mentor relationship with Jay-Z during that time?
Yeah, he was definitely a mentor. He was like a father figure.
This lady of the rock.
She's the princess.
The princess.
Yeah.
Okay, and what sets her apart as an artist from other R&B vocalists, female, that you think?
I just say she's young, you know what I'm saying? So the integrity and the truth in what she's saying, you know what I'm saying, mixed with how she's really a sweet, innocent girl if you speak to her, you know what I'm saying? But she's seen a lot, so her twist on it and her take on it is unique.
Can we talk about the absolute drama that went down with Teairra Mari? Like, seriously, 1 minute she's literally living her best life as Rockefeller's princess with everything laid out on a silver platter, and the next, poof, gone. Just like that. Kicked to the curb by Jay-Z while they're busy propping up this fresh face from the Caribbean Rihanna. And honey, if Jay-Z and Beyonce think they're getting away with what they did just because Rihanna turned out to be this massive superstar, well, they've got another thing coming because Teairra Mari is still holding on to those grudges like designer handbags. There have always been these whispers, you know what I mean? About how Beyonce basically took a wrecking ball to Teairra's career because she saw her as competition. Well, let me spill all the tea about what really went down between them.
Rihanna, and we had a showcase. And at the showcase, there were 2 artists performing. Her name is Teairra Mari, and she's a really sweet girl. And the truth is, I was paying a little more attention to her than I was to Rihanna. After the showcase, Beyonce just gave me one of those looks, and he said, that Rihanna girl, she's a beast. And she looked away, right? And I was like, so I did a Rihanna double take. But it wasn't as though I didn't believe in Rihanna. I love that girl, right? But I paid a little more attention when Beyonce said that.
Let's be real for a hot minute. People have been saying there's no such thing as a squeaky clean billionaire, right? Because honey, to reach those heights, you've got to step on some toes along the way. And the way Jay-Z and Beyonce were moving in the early 2000s? Chile. It was not all sunshine and roses. So picture this. Teairra Mari, barely sweet 16, gets thrust into the spotlight after being signed to Def Jam by L.A. Reid. Her mentor, Big Mike from Kiss Productions, had been shopping her demo around, and the second L.A. Reid heard her voice, he was like, this girl is going to be the next big thing. Even Def Jam's A&R executive, Shakir Stewart, was absolutely living for her, saying, and I quote, Teairra was a star when she walked into the room. She captured the room when she did her audition. We fell in love with her from day one. Teairra had it all. She was young, gorgeous, and had this urban look that both L.A. Reid and Jay-Z were convinced would make her stand out like a diamond in a coal mine. And when Make Her Feel Good dropped, baby, it was explosive. Jay-Z knew he'd struck gold faster than you can say chart topper. They started calling her the Princess of Rock, taking her to all these fancy events, and Jay-Z was basically telling everyone that Teairra was the one to watch. Even when Rihanna came strutting onto the scene, ready to prove herself, the execs were barely giving her the time of day because they were so convinced Teairra was going to be the bigger star. Like Rihanna already had Pon de Replay doing its thing, but the label was still throwing all their resources at Teairra while Riri was basically left to figure things out on her own. But then, all it took was a few words from Queen Bey herself to flip this whole situation like a pancake. Beyonce was already Jay-Z's girlfriend, and let's be honest, she was huge. Her debut album, Dangerously in Love, was basically living on the radio, and Destiny's Child, please, they were everything. So when Beyonce spoke about artists, especially in R&B, people listened like it was gospel. According to L.A. Reid, they had this in-house company showcase, and Beyonce just happened to be there. After the girls finished performing, Bey went up to Reid and simply said Rihanna was a beast. That's it. She didn't do much else, but baby, that was all it took to push Rihanna to the front of the line. Now here's the tea. Rihanna and Beyonce, they were never besties. Even now, they're more like frenemies than anything else. I mean, have you ever wondered why these two queens never did a song together? When Riri got signed by Jay-Z, she started singing Beyonce's praises like it was her job, saying every artist should be just like her. But let's be real, she probably did all that because she knew Def Jam didn't just randomly start paying attention to her.
I'm a big fan of Beyonce.
I love her.
And so has she given you any kind of advice or
Yeah, she actually wrote me this cute little letter, and she signed it with her autograph. It was so cute. When I first met her, and she wrote, she was telling me just let loose when you perform and just have fun and be in control. Definitely. I just thought she was, well, the first thing I saw, was her beauty and how beautiful she was. And then I listened to her music and I loved her music. She's incredibly talented. I think she's what every female artist should strive to be or strive to be like, because she, despite all her success, she still remains.
Right. How was it like meeting her?
I could not speak.
Really?
Really. That's someone I really looked up to for a long time. And it was after one of my showcases, and he was introducing me to everyone from the label. Then he finally said, okay, one more person. And there she was. And I could not speak.
And she gave you some advice?
Yes, she did. She just told me to, when I get on stage, let loose, have fun, and be in control.
Yeah, and don't be afraid to let it go.
No.
Because she'd be like, what? You know how she does it.
But hold on to your wigs, because according to Teairra Mari, pushing her out of the spotlight at Def Jam was one of the biggest mistakes Beyonce could have made. Just like L.A. Reid, Beyonce knew Teairra had talent coming out of her pores, and that was the problem. According to all these theories and reports floating around, Beyonce saw that Teairra was going to be major competition for her brand because, get this, Teairra had the same sound as her. So what did she do? Cut it off at the root before things got too messy.
What happened was I got dropped from Rockefeller on my prom day. They didn't know.
For the prom.
Yeah, honey, getting ready. I was putting lotion on my legs, got a phone call, ring, ring. Hey, yeah, we're gonna be letting you go. I was like, oh. I didn't even tell anybody that day. But, I was depressed for a little minute. I got back up. I was only 18 years of age, so it was time to get back up, get back out there, and just show my resilience. And that's what I'm doing now. And I'm here, new deal with Warner Brothers, for real, so God is good.
After Teairra's debut single dropped, everyone was comparing her to Beyonce because they were practically twins when it came to their music and performance styles. The comparison was so intense that Def Jam actually had Teairra singing Beyonce's parts from Destiny's Child's Lose My Breath. When her debut album Rockefeller Records Presents Teairra Mari hit the streets, Rolling Stone's Christian Horde spilled the tea saying, and I'm quoting here, "Apparently Jay-Z just can't get enough of Beyonce." Having scored the real deal as his girlfriend, Def Jam is releasing records from a couple of pretty young things who obviously spent some time studying Miss B's playbook. The debut from Detroit native Teairra Mari is full of moan, grind, and appeal. And Chile, that was not the kind of press Beyonce wanted out there, especially when she was just finding her footing as a solo artist. Everyone thought Rihanna was just going to be another one-hit wonder and fade faster than last season's trends. So imagine Beyonce's shock when suddenly Rihanna's name is being mentioned in the same breath as hers, with some people even suggesting Riri might become the more successful artist. And it certainly didn't help that Rihanna and Jay-Z were getting a little too cozy with each other, because Lord knows how many times that man has stepped out on his wife. This whole situation between Riri and Bey got so nasty that at the Tidal press conference, an insider spilled, the press conference was awkward to begin with. Trying to fit all the inflated egos of Nicki Minaj, Madonna, and Kanye on stage was difficult, but Beyonce and Rihanna made things worse. They refused to stand next to each other or even speak. Handlers and coordinators went through great lengths to keep the divas happy. The whole show was carefully choreographed, and these two almost had nothing to do with each other. But in all their games and music politics, the one who really got her heart shattered was Teairra Mari. Imagine finding out you've been dropped while you're getting ready for prom. She had always looked at Jay-Z like a father figure, and Beyonce and Rihanna were like family to her. So for Jay-Z to not even give her a heads up before dropping her, that cut deeper than a knife and showed her the cold, hard truth. There's no loyalty in this industry. Teairra tried to keep pushing forward by signing with Warner Brothers and releasing new music, but honey, it was never the same. Def Jam had tried selling her as this R&B artist and kept pushing that narrative through her second single, No Daddy, but let's be real. Who's going to believe a 16 or 17-year-old knows about all that? People were more forgiving when hip-hop artists like Foxy Brown rapped about those things, but folks weren't exactly loving a teenage R&B artist being so forward. But what really pushed Teairra's career off the cliff? Some radio stations straight up refused to play her songs. When Sponsor came out, it was an absolute bo peep. Like every gold digger finally had their anthem. Even if you weren't feeling the lyrics, that song was stuck in your head like gum on a shoe. And with Gucci Mane and Soulja Boy on there, that song had worldwide hit written all over it. But for some reason, shows like BET's 106 and Park wouldn't touch it with a 10-foot pole. Betty even banned her video, claiming it was too detrimental to young women. Like seriously? Of all the videos they play, Teairra's song was suddenly the problem? When Sponsor didn't break through, Teairra thought she'd give love and hip-hop a try, thinking it would give her career that extra boost it needed. But oh honey, that move was like putting the final nail in her music career's coffin. They painted her as this dramatic troublemaker, and it was not a good look. Her music career got so derailed that Teairra never got to reach her full potential. She became that underrated artist everyone talks about who could have been so much more. And trust me, people had plenty to say about it. Beyonce didn't see Rihanna surpassing her the way she did because her vocal ability wasn't as great as Teairra Mari's, but here we are, LOL. She should have kept her mouth shut. Rockefeller really did my girl Teairra Mari wrong. She really could have been bigger. Whenever that Jay-Z documentary hits, I want to know why they gave up on Teairra Mari. That debut is still everything to this day. Now, some might argue that Riri was serving bigger hits than Teairra right from the jump, but that still doesn't explain why Jay-Z dropped her faster than a hot potato. That switch from investing everything in her to giving her absolutely nothing, even when Teairra was bringing in all that money. Chile, it really shows that decision might have been more than just business. But what do you think? Are we giving Jay-Z and Beyonce too much credit here? Or does all the blame for how her career turned out really fall on Teairra Mari? Sound off in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.